mean, as the fertilizer guy, that's an obvious one, right? I think if you go back in the industry, it didn't exist 40, 50 years ago. I think most of the large fertilizer companies across the world have that agronomy wing now. So it's really about using the right amount at the right time and not overusing it. Phosphorus in terms of as a mineral resource is a finite resource, right? And until we find other ways, we have 7 billion people plus on the planet now. We cannot support, the food needs of the world without chemical fertilizer right now. That's just the reality. So again, using it in a wise way. So at home, obviously a lot of us live in neighborhoods where we've got to maintain the yard looking a certain way. Doing that the right way, doing that the responsible way. As Ed said, there are local ordinances now on when you can use fertilizer. The other piece is water, how you use water. As I mentioned earlier, every person is generating about 100 gallons a day of wastewater, some of us less, some of us more. But, instead of turning on the faucet to brush your teeth, the old example, right? Try not to do that, take shorter showers, use appliances and things like that use less water. So, it's the little things that add up. It's not just one thing. As we said from the start of this talk today, it's going to take a lot of things because the easy stuff has been done, right? So I would just say, water conservation, make good consumer decisions, use fertilizer wisely would be kind of three of the things that I try to do at home, in my own household.
I'd like to follow while we're talking about water use. I have an attention-grabbing statement. Tampa Bay Water would like to give you money. And we do that through rebates. If you have older fixtures in your home, if you have old toilets that use a lot of water, you can get a rebate from Tampa Bay Water to buy a very highly efficient toilet that uses much less water, or other features in the house. Or if you live in certain areas and you put a smart irrigation controller in so that it tells your yard your yard tells it when to water and when not to water, you'll save a lot of water, you'll save a lot of money, and we'll give you rebates to install those. You can find those on our website, tampabaywater.org. There's links that will take you so you can find out exactly what rebates you qualify for. Apart from that, look, if you have the opportunity to redo your landscaping, Florida-friendly landscaping is a great way of adding beauty to your yard, using less chemicals, pesticides, fertilizers, because those plants in the right place take much less of those resources, and they're sustainable.
I'll give two thoughts. My first thought and wish and tip for everyone in the room is get out on the bay, experience the bay, fall in love with the bay, because if you don't love something, you're not going to protect it. So get out on the bay, experience it, see where it is in its current state, see how it changes through time. If you see things changing in the negative, raise awareness in your community about what the issue is and find solutions. There's grant resources that have been talked about. A more practical thing for particularly those that live in older communities in the region built before 1975. If you've never heard of a private lateral, that's part of our aging infrastructure issues within the region. Private lateral is basically the pipe that comes from your home, collecting all the wastewater from your toilets, flushing your sinks, and it goes into the central sewer line that goes to a wastewater treatment plant. A lot of the problems that we experienced in 2016 and the sanitary sewer overflow events that were experienced during that time from high rainfall conditions were because those pipes were faulty. They were allowing a lot of that rainwater to infiltrate into the pipes, overwhelm our wastewater treatment plants. So there are incentive programs, particularly in Pinellas County right now, and we're hoping other communities will also provide rebates to get that private lateral inspected, and if there are problems, get it repaired or replaced, because that's part of the problems of some of these water quality issues that we're facing within the region now, just from the age of the development that has occurred within our region.
So far, there's been a lot of really, really, really nice suggestions for personal action. I think that we're in a space right now where things are changing really fast and we're losing some really important protections for our environment. I think that we need to do what we can to make sure that the EPA continues to exist and that the Clean Water Act is a thing that we have in this country. So talking to your legislators, making phone calls, telling them that we want to have clean water in Tampa Bay and Florida in the United States is really, really important.
That's part of the problem with bringing up the rear. A lot of the great ideas have already been talked about, and I agree and support everything that's been said here. And Ed talked about getting out on the bay. I just wanted to take that one step farther. Get your kids out on the bay. Get your family out on the bay. Tampa Bay Watch, we work with a lot of Title I schools, and they live 15 minutes away. And many of these kids have never been to the beach before. They've never been on a boat before. Many of the things that we take for granted, they haven't even experienced yet. And as the next generation comes to take our place, how do we expect them to protect the things that we've already started if they don't love the bay? So get your family out, get your kids out, talk to your school teachers, organize programs, come on out and build an oyster bar with Tampa Bay Watch. There's a lot out there that can be done. But it's that basic exposure that's so, so important. And then the other is just to reiterate, if you believe these things we've talked about tonight are important, vote. Because our political structure right now really can make a big difference, as we know, one way or the other. So we need to vote for what is important in your heart and what you see each and every day as you drive around Tampa Bay. Because it's a place we all love, I know.